Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
Right, we're going to move on, Joe, because the Saturday Social props board is here that served us so well over the course of the season. Because International Week, of course, a lot of big players representing their countries. But one name that wasn't in the England squad was Jadon Sancho. And, of course, he arrived for a lot of money in the summer. So it got us thinking about the most expensive summer signings and how they're getting on. So what we're going to do, we're going to get the guests to rank the top 20 most expensive Premier League summer signings into a tier list. Do you want to explain exactly how it's going to work?
Absolutely. We've got the 20 names in front of Zac Djellab there. We're going to be doing it in reverse order. So we're going to be starting with the cheapest first, working our way up to the most expensive. We've also not included Christian Romero, very importantly, because he is technically on loan.
Goodbye,
so, you know, the fee isn't paid till next summer.
Yeah.
So we've not included Christian Romero, but we're going cheapest to most expensive. 20 names in there. A, obviously, elite. E, the worst. Zach and Harry, you're going to be placing them. Let's try and come to some sort of agreement. I want some debate in there as well.
Zach's the gaffer, Harry's the assistant.
And Harry's not happy with that. And I think we could...
Do you know what it is?
By the end of
Sometimes the
this, we could see
assistant
him
becomes
ousted.
the manager, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, already
quite a lot of
me out.
positions.
No, look, it's they've set it up for us.
How are we going to start? OK, so...
Right, we're starting with Mark Gahey.
Yeah,
obviously, £18 million, Palace, arriving from Chelsea, your beloved Chelsea. Where are you going?
Yeah, indeed. For this season, how he's been so far, A.
Wow, it's a punchy start, you know, because if you
off.
start like that, then there's going to be a lot of players.
From the off. No, he's been incredible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Crystal Palace have basically got a brand new defence, especially with him and Anderson at the back. And he's done the role so well. He didn't have any Premier League experience beforehand.
Played
and you
every
wouldn't
game.
have known. And you wouldn't have known at all. But I mean, to be fair, out of all the Chelsea kind of academy guys, and he was so good at Swansea, I think it was always kind of known he'd be pretty decent.
Do you know, I know what you're saying about being an A first is a big shout, but I sort of agree with you there. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Played every minute, as you said, Crystal Palace, been named England under-21 captain, played every qualifier in the under-21s. Gareth Southgate actually said in his press conference he was close as well. He was one of the players that was close to an England call-up. And also, we've got to bear in mind the price tags for this, 18 million, and he's only 21 years of age. Harry, thoughts on Zach's initial placement?
Do you know what? I never really agree with Zach. Never really gets it right. But today, honestly, I agree. I think he's been amazing. I think with what Patrick Vieira's done at Crystal Palace so far, he's been very, very important in that. So having him there, I think, is a good respect to him.
It's a good start for the management
Okay,
team. I like
agreement,
this. The next one is Tomiyasu.
Indeed.
19.8 million, 23 years of age. Harry, going to come to you first with this one because you were working on deadline day for Sky and he signed that day, didn't he?
Yeah, and I was under the illusion that was a bad signing because I'm not going to name his name, but someone told me that, you know, he doesn't know his position. But he's been amazing for them this season, a replacement for Bellerin. And I think, you know what, if he's anywhere between B and C, I will be happy. But if I see him there A, then Zach, I'm looking to hand him.
If I could, I'd literally put him here.
Yeah.
You can't, though.
No, you
but
can't,
I think I'll put him B. I think he's really surprised me. I didn't think he'd... the level that he's playing at, especially at right back as well, he can do centre-back.
Defensively, they've been good as well. I think they've kept the four most
yeah.
clean sheets in the league.
Yeah.
And he said £19 million as well, not necessarily a huge fee for a defender. I think he's been relatively...
And people were questioning that move.
Yeah.
People were saying he's not a right back, he's not a centre-back.
Harry was questioning it.
No. Look. Listen, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right.
All right, let's move on.
You got it wrong.
Let's move on to the next one.
See, this is why I didn't want to be assistant. You know what I mean?
There's trouble in
Already
paradise.
digging themselves out. So the next one we've got is Brian Hill, £21 million plus Eric Lamela. So the fee is a little bit odd there, isn't it? From Sevilla. Where are we going with Brian Hill? Because he hasn't started a Premier League game yet.
Yeah, and there's probably a few players that have a very, very big future, which I do think we have to keep considered. So it's not A or B. I don't really think it's C.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's maybe D. Yeah. And that's no offence to him. I just don't think he's not really played enough yet. He's not really had the minute. He's not E. Like, he's a talented boy. He's a talented
He hasn't actually started a game. He has been injured as well. So that's a big reason why he hasn't given the opportunity.
And he's been exciting when he's played, so I think that's
a lot of Spurs
fair.
fans are quite excited about the prospects. I mean, he has broken into the Spain squad for the Nations League, but he hasn't. You're right, because of injuries and stuff. We haven't seen a lot of him. Thoughts on that selection?
Yeah, I agree. I think when a player hasn't played, we can only judge him based off his potential, and potentially he's going to be a good player. So
in 6 months' time, once he might be further in that squad as well. He might be a bit higher up.
Yeah,
he could be a B standard.
20 years of age, but he goes in D. Next player is another Spurs player, Emerson Royale, £21.5 million. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I think he's a player that is going to really benefit from Conte's change of system, playing as a wing-back rather than a full-back. I don't know if you agree with that, but when he plays in the back line, obviously he has had defensive frailties, but he is very good going forward.
I to that debut against Palace.
Against Crystal Palace, it would have been down here. I'll be honest, lads. It would have been. To be fair, it could have been lower. Wilfried Zaha.
That was a bad day for Spurs.
Wilfried Zaha had a very
Yeah.
bad time. But since then, you're right. He has come along. I thought I watched him against Aston Villa. I thought he was pretty good as well. So I'd put him C.
Yeah,
I think even then maybe I think that's pretty good.
D.
Maybe a little bit
that's
high.
kind. I think that's
think
kind.
that's very kind.
D.
I think D for me, just because. I mean, it's taken a while for him to actually get into that place where you can start saying he's defending well. And that first performance, not to say you judge players off their first game, but it was a howler.
And they have been so poor up to this stage.
Yeah.
So poor. Like, I agree. I think under Conte's system, he's going to get way better. But
Plays a wing back.
up to now, they have been pretty much dreadful.
I may end up changing this depending who else I put in C.
Pressure.
Can change it.
Oh,
I don't know if the rules allow you.
Okay.
Your assistant manager is actually saying D, but if you don't want to listen to him, then it's cool.
Who we got next?
Let's do the next one. Patson Daka, right?
Patson Daka,
He's also
yes.
not started a Premier League game, and his
sure.
only goals for the club have come in one match. He was signed for £23 million.
Yes, which is quite a... £23 million.
I think that's right for a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
It's quite. No, it's not too bad.
Again, I think in time. I think he needs a bit of time to settle into the Premier League.
He's got a Premier League goal.
Yes.
That did come against, you know.
And Jamie Vardy's obviously started the season pretty well. See, if I put Emerson C.
See, this is where you started to go.
That's why I should listen to your assistant.
He's already panicking.
This is why.
Harry, help him out.
I definitely would put him a C. I think,
Okay.
like, potentially he's going to be a good player for Leicester as well. And like you said, he got a goal against one of the greatest teams in the world. So, I'll put him on the C.
How great?
Scored
how
4
great
goals
is
in
that
one game in the Europa League. I know it's
yes.
worth pointing out. I think as well, 23 million is not a huge amount of money in this current market. Tough one to do that though, isn't it? I think
The long-term Vardy replacement is what they're hoping, I think, isn't it? And Jamie Vardy.
The future's bright for him.
Can't get him out.
The future is bright for him.
Now, the next one is an interesting one, Joe Willock. Now, Newcastle fans were absolutely buzzing with him last season. Remember, he scored all those goals in a consecutive period of time.
7 and 7, I think it was.
7 and 7. This season, of this signing for 25 million, 7 starts, no goals, no assists. So it's a stark difference to last season. But is that, a reflection of Newcastle as a team, or is it him? I mean, where do you think he is?
But essentially, Newcastle spent all of their budget on him this summer, and I think if you'd asked anyone could have told you he's not going to continue this rate of ridiculous goal scoring.
Yeah.
And just based on this season, sorry.
Oi, here we go.
HP,
Here we go.
Just based on this season.
7 starts, 7 no goals, no assists. I understand where Zach's put, but I think E is a bit harsh. However,
Go on.
I'm basing it on Newcastle in general. They haven't been like wow, and
They weren't good last season either.
Do you know what I mean? But he was, and I think he's a victim of his own success more than anything. I
agree with that.
I don't think that he's a bad player. I just think he's playing in a team that are not really firing at this precise moment. It is a bit harsh, but if we are going to be factual, based on his 7 games, it hasn't actually.
And Eddie Howe might. I think Eddie Howe's going to be more production out of him.
He might.
And also, I wouldn't worry about spending the whole budget, because that's not a problem Newcastle have anymore, is it?
Indeed.
They're going to have a lot of money.
Let's move on to the next one. HP, I want to come straight to you on this
Yeah.
one. Dan James, £26 million.
Yeah.
Leeds spent on him. What are your thoughts immediately? Because I'm looking at the stats. 7 starts, just the 1 assist, and it was a bit of a scrubber, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Look, I've respect the guy, but as when he was at United, I didn't really feel like that was the level that he needs to be playing at. And I think Leeds obviously was a good fit for him. I thought hasn't hit the ground running as well. I'll put him as an E as well. I'll be honest. I don't think he's been amazing this season. I haven't seen any flashes that says to me, okay, cool, he's kicking on. So maybe restart the season for him. But yeah,
Leeds have been poor at the start of the season as well. They've been really poor. They've obviously had bad injuries, Bamford, Ayling, Phillips has been injured, but it still feels like they're relying on Rafinha to drag them out of holes.
He's been sensational.
And I haven't yet seen Dan James do that or take it to that level. And £26 million a lot for Leeds. That's a big old fee for them, I think. And Man United fans were pretty delighted to get £26 million for Dan James, I would say.
Of course, yeah.
So you agree with that, Zach?
I'll take my assistant manager's...
Thank you. I like this relationship.
A rare one.
Now, next up, Ings. I'm intrigued to know where you're going to put him. £26 million. What I will say about this signing is the one that went completely under the radar. No one knew anything about it.
His family didn't know about it.
No, unbelievable. No, I know. So Danny Ings, I like Danny Ings, good player. 9 starts, 3 goals, 2 assists. Scored that great bicycle kick goal, didn't he? But 1 in his last 7 games. So he's a player that I feel during his career, injuries have really affected him, haven't they, in terms of the level he could get to.
Massively.
But good player, as we know. Where would you place him, Zach?
Again, based on this season, if we were doing this, say, a month and a half ago, it could have been could have been up here.
Okay.
Recent form, and again with injuries, I think probably C is about right. Danny Ings is a proven Premier League quality striker. He's done that at Southampton and shown what he's about. And hopefully under Steven Gerrard, if he stays fit and works in the system,
role.
and works hard for him, I think he can maybe even again move back up.
Right.
But for now,
C.
I think C.
Happy with that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one then. Nicola Vlasic. Not as much to say about Nicola Vlasic just because he hasn't played as many games like some of the other people on here, right? Where are we putting him?
Again, I think probably D is.
It did cost 27 million.
Yeah, but I mean also when Souček and Declan Rice are playing to the level that they're playing,
And the
it's
front
hard
three,
to get in that
Fornals.
squad. Exactly. So I don't think it's necessarily his fault.
Okay.
We haven't seen much of him, so I would say, probably D.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay. Should we move straight on from one West Ham player to another? Kurt Zouma, £29.8 million. West Ham third in the league, scored in the weekend, doing very well. I'm intrigued to know where you'd put him. And also, just get your thoughts on Chelsea in terms of the players. Obviously, their recruitment's been brilliant. They're flying. There's loads of positives. But are you slightly surprised at some of the defenders they've let go? Mark Gahey, you put in A, for instance. Fikayo Tomori is playing so well for AC Milan. Kurt Zouma. They seem to have let some real quality defenders go recently.
And all your centre defenders are out of contract.
Well, they could be. I mean, there's still 6 months. I think Chelsea have such quality with their academy or whether they're their squad players that they all deserve to be getting minutes. And so really the way they're going to get minutes is by going out on loan or going and making the decision to move elsewhere. And Mark's done it, as you said, Tomori's done it, and they've both benefited massively. Kurt Zouma's done it, and he's benefited massively.
Where would you put him then?
A.
Yeah.
Massive. He's been brilliant.
That's what I'm getting at, though. Two Chelsea former
No, I agree.
You put both in A.
But then also Chelsea have the one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. They're not necessarily missing out on it. And so, I mean, if we don't get the guys on new contracts, it could look silly maybe in time. However, there's a buyback clause on Gahey as well.
All right, let's do the next one then. Aaron Ramsdale, £30 million. Can I just say, was hammered by Arsenal fans on social media. And there's so many U-turns happening right now. There's so many U-turns happening at the Emirates. HP, I mean, 7 clean sheets in 11 games in all comps. He hasn't lost the Premier League game that he started yet. Looking good.
Do you know, with him as well? Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is because when you've watched some of the games where Arsenal have, won by just the margin, he's been the difference. He's made some amazing saves
at
and
Leicester.
The save at Leicester. He's been unreal, and I think he's got a lot of Arsenal fans saying sorry because they were very like, how can you get Leno out the team? And he's proven why. He's an amazing keeper, and I think he's so young as well. I think he's 23.
Yeah.
And he's gonna I think he'll have a long career at Arsenal if he continues.
Talking about those moments that HP was mentioning there, the save.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Because you don't rate the save.
No, I do rate the save. I just think it got, like Schmeichel said, it's the best save he's seen in like 10 years.
One of the best in years,
and that I don't think is true. Like, it is a good save, but his positioning isn't in the best.
Like,
he makes it,
Crazy.
indeed, against the Suns team, but he makes it difficult for himself, so he has to pull off an exceptional save when he could just stand a little bit in a better position and make it very much easier for him. Like, the shot is not going top bins.
Talking like a keeper is.
That's
what I have to deal with as a manager.
What I will say is, when you both said A, you sort of went A as if to allude to the fact you might not put him in A. So I agree. I think Ramsdale's been brilliant. I'd certainly put him in a high category. But
I mean, I'm happy.
7 clean sheets in 11.
What more can he do?
I'm happy to put him in A.
I'd put him in A.
I'd put him in A.
If it was 7 goals in 11 games,
just-
I mean...
It was between like A or B.
Where
Like,
you
that's
put
what
him
it was.
next?
Put him down, 'cause we've got to move on.
We've got to
We're running short.
I'll do A.
Okay, next up, Leon Bailey, £30 million signed from Bayer Leverkusen. 2 assists, 1 goal. He has been injured as well.
Yes, massively.
Where would you put him? Tricky one, this one.
C, personally. I think he's been very unfortunate with his injuries. When he is on the pitch, he's great. He really
Put
is
him
great.
straight in, then we'll move straight on. Simple.
Leon Bailey. Martin Ødegaard is the next name we've got down here. £34 million.
A lot of money, to be fair.
a lot of money.
22 years old. Fairly consistent, but maybe not ripping up any...
Consistently average. I mean, to be fair though, no, but to be fair, I mean, obviously Emile Smith-Rowe's been brilliant this year. Saka's obviously done really well, so maybe he hasn't had the room to shine.
See,
you know what? With the other players that are in C, I think I can put him in C. I think I can put him in C. Yeah. But
moving straight on to Canate, £36 million signing, 22 years of age. Where'd you put him? 3 starts this season.
Really good signing for the future.
Yeah.
Really good signing for the future.
He only started 8 games last season for Leipzig.
Yeah, I mean, he has had injury issues as well over time. 34 million, did you say? Or
36 million pounds.
36 million is quite a bit, but we've always said, right, Liverpool need to sign centre-backs. When Virgil van Dijk got injured and then Joe Gomez got injured, we were saying, well, why do they not have a next level, like an up-and-coming one to come through? And that's Canate. And when he has played, he's been really good.
Yeah.
He played against Manchester United
he did,
in the
Chill out,
final.
chill out.
Not hard. I could have played a
defended-
centre half in that game for Liverpool.
And defended really well. I know he hasn't played
Gotta
much,
push
but
for
I'm
that.
even thinking B.
Oh, wow.
Insane. I was going to say C, but go on.
I also
Gav.
am thinking like quite a far way to reach.
Well,
I've
put
got you.
him down. Let's
It's a
move
great
on.
reason, isn't it? Right, we've got
I'm putting him B, lads. I'm putting him B. I'm putting him B.
Wow, the list out the window.
Crazy.
Right, let's move on.
Buendia's up next then, £38 million. 15 goals, 15 assists last season for Norwich in the Champ.
Sure,
and
but
it's not quite worked so far.
Yeah, this season's not been great. I mean, I'm looking towards here at the moment. I'm not going to quite say here because I know he's a quality player.
Yeah.
But when
And
you're
he's still at
spending
24, right?
When you're spending 38 million pounds on a player,
For Villa.
like you need, and you are Aston Villa, you need to be getting your money's worth. And so far, that's not
Right,
worked out.
we're
for
going to go
him.
straight on to the top 5 because the money increases now. I'm going to come to HP for this one. Raphael Varane, £41 million, 28 years of age. We all know about his CV. It's incredible. 6 starts in the Premier League. I want to give you this stat. 67% of games Man United have won with only 0.7 goals conceded with him in the team. Without Varane, they've only won 25%, 2.8 goals conceded. Big difference when Varane doesn't play.
For me, I think he's been one of the best signings for us in a long time in terms of defenders. I think you can really see by the way he defends and commands. He is the real deal. Unfortunately for us, injuries have not been, on our side. But from what I've seen and when I've watched him play, I'd say B. I think he's played really, really well. I mean,
if we've got Canate in B. Canate started.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not arguing.
The only reason
not happy with that one,
reason why I'm saying that is because the games he hasn't played a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I think if he had if he played from every game since he signed, I think we would have put him in A. But I'll be fair and say
And
B.
such good value for money.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
41 or something like that.
Yeah, he's only 28 still. as
£41
well.
million pounds. Yeah.
Unreal value for money.
Yeah.
And like he's going to be the star centre back for years
Okay.
to come.
One defender to another.
Yeah, Ben White, £50 million. Started the season a bit slowly, but I feel like he's really finding his feet now.
Yeah.
At Arsenal.
He's come on really, really well. I think the Arsenal fans love him as well. The chat about with Ramsdale saying,
Yeah.
when you make a save, I just want to punch you.
Yeah, that's so
He's
good.
he's a really nice guy. I think he's a modern day centre back, and he's something that I think he's very, very talented. Again, I'm looking at B to be quite honest. I think he's been really, really
Agree
good.
with that, Harry?
Yes, 100%.
Right, let's get into the 3 most expensive summer signings. The 3rd most expensive, Jadon Sancho. Got to come to Harry on this. £73 million, someone that you know very well, and someone that Man United were chasing for ages. Only 21 years of age, ripped it up in the Bundesliga, didn't he?
Unbelievable.
But 8 games he's played in the Premier League, no goals, no assists. Why do you think that is? Because it is
I'll be honest
surprising,
with you.
isn't it?
It's the way we played this season. We haven't played well this season. So you're talking about a player who hasn't started as much games as we would have liked him to start, hasn't been given a chance like 3 games in a row to actually get a feel of the team and whatnot. So we're actually asking him to come on and do the impossible.
Yeah, because a lot of those games, to be fair, they're not all starts.
I think it's only 3 starts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, for me, obviously, we haven't seen what Sancho can do, and that's because I feel like the style of football is non-existent at United at this precise moment.
Talk of him as well. There were some reports this week about him potentially being utilised as a wing back.
Do you know what I mean?
Started on
What do you make of that?
I think that's just nonsense. I think you didn't buy him. He wasn't at Dortmund being a wing back.
No.
You buy a player for what they're good at, and he's a great winger. He's a player who's explosive, inside winger, if you want to call it that. And I think he hasn't been given that chance to do that.
What was the plan if he's now being used as a wing back?
Technically unbelievable, isn't it?
I mean, look, you see when he played against for England what he can do.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was against not the best team, but still he has the quality to do that. You speak to some of the lads that play.
Yeah, they
with
all
him,
say
they
the
all
best
say
player in
he's
training
great.
is Sancho.
Well, it was when I was working for England in the summer. Every player I spoke to, when we said best player in training, technically they all said to me, Jadon Sancho.
And he's
Jadon
an amazing
Sancho,
trainer
best
as well.
player
I've
in
had
training.
I've had the luxury of going to Carrington and hearing what they've got to say about him, and they're so excited about him. However, it's just not working for United. So I would say, Gaffer.
Yeah.
You know.
Look, talent level, he's here.
Yeah,
he
based
really
on the
is.
signing.
But based on so far this season, I think D.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
No, 'cause if you put E, I would have shut this whole board down.
No. And it actually does pain
E.
me, man. It really does pain me.
There we go. I've got 2 more.
Okay,
Two
yeah,
big
let's
signings.
do
Hopefully
Romelu
soon.
Lukaku next then, because he was £97.5 million. He's
Yeah,
only
a lot
scored
of money.
3 Premier League goals, but he has had injuries.
He has been
obviously.
injured.
He's been injured for the last 3 weeks.
He has been injured. Yeah, I mean, he's not necessarily set the league alight straight away, but I think he has had very dominant performances against Arsenal. He was the best player on the pitch, absolutely dominated Mr. Ben White over here. He's been very unfortunate with injuries. Missed like last month or so, where we were playing kind of lesser teams, which he could have maybe stat padded per se. I mean, Burnley, we would have 100% won against Burnley if Romelu Lukaku was playing. Yeah. I'm happy to put him in C for now, to be quite honest. I think he's.
That's fair.
I think, but in maybe 2 months' time, he could easily drop.
I would imagine
he's putting him in C.
Yeah.
Last player, Jack Grealish, £100 million man, 26 years of age. We're all big fans of Jack Grealish here, I think we can say. But looking at his stats, 1 goal, 2 assists in 9 starts in the Premier League. Got to bear in mind the players that they've got in those positions as well, and the start he's had. We all rate him. Where do you put him on the board?
Yeah, I mean, he's going probably for B for me. I know necessarily numbers-wise he's not necessarily up there very highly, but he has been very, very good whilst playing for Manchester City, creating lots of chances for them. I mean, winning lots of fouls for them as well. I mean, he's definitely much better than C. He's not quite A-level.
And wingers start slowly under Pep, don't they? Wingers always traditionally take a while.
And that team's so easy, they're so hard to break into because of the amount of quality that they've got there. But I don't think he's looked out of place at one bit.
But he has ousted, Raheem Sterling from his role. And Raheem Sterling was such a vital player, such a big goal scorer.
I think that's more a thing to do with the manager and
as
Sterling more than anything. Because for me, Sterling starts every game, if I'm being honest. And that's not to take anything away from Jack, but Jack is proving that he can play the position well. He's not stopping them from the fluidity of the way they play. So I think they've got a lot of good options. So good pick for Pep.